This is Southern Illinois' Hardin County.
We have beautiful scenery. We have a lot of people coming through that really enjoy our scenery and staying with us.
Come to the country down here, Southern Illinois. It's beautiful here and I love it.
When the grandkids came along, we're doing the same thing for them. We're taking them to the Garden of Gods, we're taking them to the river, to the cave. And so it's kind of generation after generation.
We have bed and breakfast, we have guest house, we have cabins, something for everyone.
Southern Illinois has a lot of things that people that haven't been here or spent any time here that are really surprised once they get down here. When I work in the store here, I'm amazed at the number of people that come in and from up north or down south, and they'll say, "Boy, I didn't know all this was here. I didn't know that Southern Illinois was so beautiful. I didn't know there were so many hills and hollows and different things to see and do."
People that come in here that have not been here are absolutely amazed at what they see when they do get here. The excellent bed and breakfasts and camping places and rental places that we have. If they're hikers, they've got beautiful places to hike. If they're bicycle riders, we've got that. If they want to just sit and relax and watch the river flow by, they can do that. If they, on the other hand, happen to be hunters or fishermen, we have facilities and lots of game and lots of fish. So this is the place to come.
Rock formations carved by nature, forests lost in time, festivals, fun in the sun, history and more. Hardin County, where a morning exploring a river pirate's cavern can lead to afternoon naps under shady maple trees along the mighty Ohio River. Driftwood floats away, as do the cares of work, bumper-to-bumper traffic, and the congestion of the city.
We wanted to get away from the rat race and the hectic life of living in California, and we thought a good place to come would be the Midwest, and we searched for 3 years and found Hardin County, which we fell in love with.
Spectacular vistas of nature are little touched by man. Journey with us across these hills and hollows along the river's edge. In Hardin County, you're invited to stay and play as you explore our legends and lore.
We've always came down around the river towns, and we just love it down here. It's beautiful.
Hardin County is a place that you can come and get away from the hustle and the bustle, and it's just a relaxing area to come to. And we have hunting, fishing, just beautiful scenery, and just a wonderful place to come just to speak. So we say, get away from it all and just relax and do nothing if you don't want to. And if you want to hike or bike or ride horses or, just swim, whatever you want to do, it's here, but in a quieter atmosphere.
The quaint towns of Cave-In Rock, Elizabethtown, and Rosiclare took root on the banks of the river as settlers began arriving in the early 1800s, civilizing the wilderness and forming present-day Hardin County in 1839. Many legends surround the history of Hardin County's most visible landmark, the cave at Cave-In Rock. The earliest record of the cave in history comes from Charlevoix's History of New France, published in 1744. We know from archaeological artifacts found within the cave, Native Americans and the early mound builders frequented the cave. In the late 18th or early 19th century, a man named Wilson brought his family downriver to the cave and hung a sign at the water's edge that read, "Wilson's Liquor Vault and House of Entertainment." Such an invitation was a welcome sight to many weary travelers in search of rest along the river. Wilson formed a band of robbers that killed entire boat crews when they stopped for liquid refreshments on their way downriver. Their cargo was then taken to New Orleans and sold.
And they used the cave hole as a banking place. They had pirates that would come and exchange $100 worth of paper money, counterfeit paper money, for $16 worth of gold.
For early pioneers, the river served as an interstate highway leading settlers west. The cave offered shelter and protection. The river pirates, waiting inside, would call for travelers to come in the cool cave to rest. Sometimes the river pirates would stand on shore pretending to be stranded settlers in desperate need of help, or they would offer to hire the boat to carry them downstream. The river travelers would be welcomed by the pirates and led to the back of the cave where their wicked deeds were done. Whenever an unsuspecting flatboat would come near the shore, pirates would jump aboard, killing the crew, and take their cargo. The cave along the river's edge would become synonymous with crime and death. When law and order was established in the territory, enterprising early settlers used the cave's unique structure.
They built 2 boats inside that cave hole, right in the very front part of the cave hole. One was called the Egyptian, and the other one was called the Catherine. When the river came up that year, well, the 2 years that they did this, they floated the boats out into the river because the river gets up into the cave hole. In the ceiling of the cave hole, there are people's names, and some of the names have been there as long as I can remember, and then some of them are gone today. They would row their boats inside the cave hole, paint or carve their names on the ceiling, and row back out.
Today, the Cavern of Crime is part of the Cave-In Rock State Park, which includes camping and picnicking facilities. High atop the bluff over the cavern sits Kaler's Restaurant, and the state park lodges offering breathtaking views of the river below. Cave-In Rock is home to the only river ferry offering passage from Illinois to Kentucky's Amish country. The ferry is open daily and is free of charge. Cave-In Rock's downtown offers restaurants and shops, and the Opry House with productions from local talent and various entertainment throughout the year. The affordably priced Cave-In Rock Motel lies just outside town on Illinois Route 1 along the Ohio River Scenic Byway. For golf enthusiasts, there is TTI Golf Club of Cave-In Rock. Located 1 mile north of Cave-In Rock, this public golf course looks easy, but in reality is quite a challenge. The tree-lined fairways are open and the greens are small and fast. Call 618-289-4587 for green fees and tee times. Complete information, including all lodging and attractions, can be found on our website, HardinCountyIL.org. In the early 1800s, James McFarland found an outcropping of rock off the Ohio River with miles of unobstructed river views both up and downstream. He built McFarland's Tavern, offering lodging and refreshment to weary river travelers. He was commissioned by the United States government to provide beef to the garrison stationed at Fort Massac near present-day Metropolis, Illinois. A prosperous community grew around the tavern and eventually came to be named for McFarland's wife, Elizabeth. Originally built in 1812, McFarland's Tavern is now known as the Rose Hotel, and weary visitors can still stay and marvel at the scenic vistas from McFarland's Bluff overlooking the river at this bed and breakfast.
Majority of them come from the cities like Springfield, Chicago. They come down to hike Garden of the Gods, Rimrock Trails. The motorcycles come down because they love the riding on the hills and the turns. I've had several from out of the country. I had a couple from South Africa, and they were scheduled just to stay one night. But they ended up staying longer because they loved it, and they told me that they had been all over the country. And I've had people from Australia, and they loved it.
Elizabethtown is the county seat and has many historic homes along its side streets. The Blue House is a guest house available for overnight stays. The River Rose Inn, an elegant Greek Revival mansion, is a riverfront bed and breakfast offering luxurious lodging year-round.
My bed and breakfast at the River Rose Inn Bed and Breakfast, we have 5 bedrooms for guests to sleep in, 4 in the main house, 1 cottage in the back. We also have a beautiful view of the river from any part of the house, windows, balconies, under the magnolia tree. We also have a swimming pool, an outdoor jacuzzi, hot tub for the guests to relax and enjoy.
The historic First Baptist Church's congregation has held regular services since 1806. the present sanctuary built in 1877. For the hungry, Elizabethtown boasts restaurants with a down-home atmosphere where fish and seafood, comfort food, hamburgers and specialty sandwiches, and authentic Mexican cuisine can all be found. Information on area attractions, including Shawnee National Forest information and antiques and collectibles, are available at the Old Heritage Shops in Elizabethtown. On the Ohio River Scenic Byway and within walking distance of downtown lodging and the riverfront, the Old Heritage Shop serves as a welcome center to the Hardin County area, Wednesday through Saturday, open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
We have people come in from all over, actually all over the world, but mostly, I'd say most of the folks that we have come in here come from the Chicago area, St. Louis area, sometimes from Evansville, Indiana, and then we have an awful lot of hikers and hunters that come in looking for information about the Shawnee National Forest, particularly the hikers looking for maps.
Complete lodging and attraction information and the most up-to-date schedule of festivals and events can be found on our website, hardincountyil.org. Not all legends in Hardin County are of pirates and robbers. With the National Quilt Museum less than an hour's drive away in Paducah, Kentucky, the tradition of passing down handmade quilts is kept alive through displays and demonstrations by the Busy Hands Quilt Club. The Underground Railroad display celebrating Civil War era folklore is a popular attraction at community festivals.
Each quilt pattern means a different thing. The quilts would be hung at plantation homes. You would find them in mausoleums and caves, even on ditch banks along the river. And the fleeing slaves who came on this quilt knew that the path was not safe and they should move in a staggering zigzag fashion, or they would have to double back from time to time along the path they came to elude any of the slave hunters. And slaves only traveled 15 or 20 miles a night. So when they saw this particular quilt, it was very discouraging to them because it could lengthen their journey as much as a week.
We have over 100 quilts today, which we're very excited about.
The early settlers found Hardin County to be rich in mineral deposits. Lead and iron ore were mined and processed throughout the 1800s. The Illinois Iron Furnace in rural Elizabethtown is a rebuilt furnace of the 1800s. Iron from this furnace was used at the Union shipyards downriver at Mounds, Illinois during the Civil War. A kiosk on site explains how the furnace established Hardin County as an important mineral supplier. Fluorspar has proved to be the most important resource in Hardin County history. Until recently, Hardin County was the major supplier of the United States fluorite. Fluorspar is found all over Hardin County, from specimens in the gift shops to stray pieces in gravel driveways. Fluorspar is the Illinois state mineral and can be a unique memento of your visit to Hardin County. The American Fluorite Museum in Rosiclare has exhibits of the mining heritage of the county, as well as beautiful specimens on display.
When Ozark Mahoning closed, the last one that was operating here, then that's when we opened the museum. These two big flat pieces right there was in our office over at Ozark Mahoning, and when we closed the office, then we brought them over here. It's just fascinating on what all it is in. And it's in your toothpaste and your mouthwash and glassware and a lot of stuff that you would never realize it's in. The blue, the purple, dark purple, light purple, yellow, it's all fascinating to me. I love it. We've never had a complaint. Never. Never had a complaint.
Along the historic Night Block in Rosiclare is the Visitor Center, where sandwiches and lunch specials are served. The Rosiclare Craft and Antique Mall sells antiques and collectibles and is named for the town's namesakes. The two girls' names were combined to give Rosiclare its unique name. The Antique Mall is open Wednesday through Saturday, opening at 10 a.m. Closing times vary throughout the week.
And it's really fun in Southern Illinois to look for antiques. There's so many different antique stores around Southern Illinois, and comparing the prices to other places, I think you can buy antiques in Hardin County probably cheaper than any place else that I've found in Southern Illinois. the store here and the one down in Rosiclare is really an undiscovered treasure, because there are a lot of people that have antiques, not just myself, but other people that buy things and bring them in, and generally you can find things here sometimes half the price that you could if you went up around St. Louis or up around Chicago.
Through the Army Corps of Engineers levee system is Rosiclare's riverfront. This is where the Shawnee Queen River Taxi is launched, with daily excursions to the riverfront towns in Hardin County as well as Golconda, Illinois. The river taxi is operated seasonally by the Rides Mass Transit District, and the latest information is on their website, ridesmtd.com. While waiting for your excursion, enjoy the Rosiclare City Park and its river walk along the Ohio. Overnight recreational vehicle campsites are available from the city for a nominal fee. For more information and links to attractions in and around Hardin County, see our website, hardincountyil.org. Hardin County has been called Illinois' final frontier. Trails and hollows are little changed from those seen by Native Americans that once called these bluffs home. When the pioneers carved their trails through the virgin forest, inns were built near heavily traveled crossroads. About 10 miles north of present-day Cave-In Rock, a man by the name of Potts built such an inn, and the legend of his son Billy is told to this day. At the base of the bluff known as Potts Hill was a cold spring that never dried up, even in the severest of droughts. Isaiah Potts built an inn near the spring and provided rest for the weary overland travelers making their way from the Ohio River to the salt works near present-day Equality. When the traveler reached the inn, Potts invited them to the spring, where many took their last drink. The Ohio River was crossed at well-known ferry landings such as Ford's Ferry near present-day Cave-In Rock. The ferrymen would tell travelers of the spring at Potts Inn. Isaiah and his family would then be tipped off of a wealthy traveler coming their way. The traveler was welcomed off the hot and dusty forest trail and invited to the inn for food and fellowship, and always a drink at the inn's cold water spring. Legend says that Isaiah's son Billy delighted in the family skullduggery. Billy became so adept at violence and death, his father and mother were scared of the lad. They ran him off at a young age, fearful he would bring undue attention to their enterprise. Billy grew to adulthood and lost his boyish looks, even sporting a beard. Thus disguised, he decided to revisit the place of his youth. When crossing the ferry, he greeted the spotters for his father and begged them to let him surprise his mother and father. When Billy arrived at the inn, Isaiah and his wife didn't recognize their son and invited Billy to dine with them. Evidently, Billy assumed his father and mother had quit their evil ways, because he, too, took his last drink at the spring. Later in the day, the spotter returned to the inn expecting to see a reunion. When told of Billy's return, Isaiah removed the body from its shallow grave, and the boy's own mother identified him by a birthmark she remembered from his youth. Legend states that the killing of Billy ended the elder Potts' murderous ways, and they left the area never to be heard of again. United States Forest Service sites dominate the attractions in Hardin County, where casual and experienced hikers alike will find Hardin County filled with spectacular displays of nature. The 170-mile river-to-river trail linking the Ohio and Mississippi rivers has its eastern terminus in Hardin County. Rimrock Trail and Pounds Hollow recreational areas feature trails and ancient Native American stone walls and natural corrals.
The Shawnee Forest of Southern Illinois is actually listed as one of the 5 top places to ride in the nation in Western Horsemen. We have rock formations. I mean, the scenery is just incredible here. Endless trails. You could ride forever down here if you wanted to. Hiking in the Shawnee is just phenomenal, and it's phenomenal all 4 seasons. Winter hiking is awesome because you can see so many more of the rock formations. In the spring, there's dogwoods and all kinds of spring flowers.
The crown jewel attraction in southern Illinois is Garden of the Gods, located on Hardin County's northern border. A southern Illinois landmark, Camel Rock will represent Illinois in the United States Mint's America the Beautiful Quarters program in 2016. The half-mile trail is a must-see no matter what time of year you visit, with some of the most photographed rock formations in Illinois. For overnight stays in the Shawnee National Forest, there are options for all budgets and group sizes. Rimrock's dogwood cabins are just down the road from Garden of the Gods, Pounds Hollow, and Rimrock Trail. Arrowhead Campground offers accommodations catering to the hunters. Other guest houses and cabins scattered throughout the county include Austin Acres, Pleasant View, Cedar Hill River Resort, and Shawnee Home Place. Hardin County is a nature lover's wonderland, whether hunting, fishing, hiking, boating, or exploring the great Shawnee National Forest. You'll not be disappointed.
The Wild River's got some of the biggest catfish in Illinois. But we got lots of big whitetail out there by the old furnace, turkey. We're kind of proud of our whitetail. To go out here and around the Shawnee Forest and start hunting. There's plenty of room out there. Of course, you can't go to the landowners, they'll run you off. You got to get permission from the landowners, which is very important. Good place to hunt and fish. That's what I live for, to hunt and fish, play a little golf.
The Hardin County festivals throughout the year sparkle with small town charm. Feast on deliciously prepared barbecue during Smiley Club's Memorial Day and Labor Day weekend festivals in Elizabethtown. Rosiclare rocks twice each year with music and food on the riverfront. Elizabethtown celebrates the nation's birthday each year with fireworks, music, barbecue, and the Heritage Festival in Elizabethtown features an 1860 pageant, street play, ladies' tea, quilt show, and the now infamous duck race on the river.
That has been a very successful event because the people love to go down on the river and watch these little plastic ducks go down the river as they race to the finish line. After the duck race, we go right directly to the play, which is an 1860s theme. I wanted to point out that this is my typical 1860s outfit. We always wear hats and we always wear the big hoops and try to look the part. And most of our characters are played from year to year. We have the same character, same name. I'm always Mrs. Love in the play. We all work together. We have a very small crew here, but we all work together and we get the job done. And I think we do a pretty darn good job.
In the fall, the county's heritage is remembered in the annual Florist Bar Festival in Rosiclare and Frontier Days in Cave-In Rock with pageants, parades, car shows, and musical reviews. For a relaxing and scenic ride, the rolling hills and winding roads through the Shawnee National Forest are a motorcyclist's dream. For some, retirement has brought them to Hardin County.
In fact, I wanted to move back a lot earlier, but my husband had a job and he had to retire before we could move back. But we came back as soon as we could.
Once we moved here, we found that Hardin County and the whole area has so much to offer. It is a wonderful place to just be in general. And we hear that from our guests all the time. A lot of them would like to move down here.
For the most up-to-date information on county festivals and planning your visit to Hardin County, see our website at hardincountyil.org.
I enjoyed the river, going up on the bluff at the park and that, and just sitting and having coffee and sitting there and enjoying the river.
Come on down to this Ohio River. You can fish all the way from Cave-In Rock to Rosiclare, and maybe go home with a good catch that you can brag about to your family when you get back home.
Well, everybody, when they come into the shop, they're just always bragging about the scenery here, the river. They say it's best kept secret in Southern Illinois. We've heard that over and over, and I think there's some truth to that.
River Bluff Lodges, historic bed and breakfast, cabins nestled in the forest. Hardin County has it all. You're invited to stay and play in Hardin County. The hills and hollows beckon, and our small town charm will delight. The rocking chair is waiting. Stop by and stay a while, where hospitality is a way of life.